You're watching Chris and the Donnas. After a 4-day visit to the Hawaiian Islands, where we stopped in a different port each day, we spent 5 days at sea sailing back toward the North American mainland. During those 5 days at sea, we split our time between relaxation and recreation, depending on how much energy and motivation we had each day. Seeing land after so many days at sea was a welcome sight, but the colors of the morning sky at dawn were incredible on this occasion. The blend of yellow, orange, and red hues took our breath away as we stood in awe of such beauty above the mountains of the Baja California Peninsula. In contrast to the brilliant sky, the mountain ranges rose majestically above the ocean with dark shades of blue and purple. It was almost like we were rewarded for enduring our trek back across the Pacific Ocean from the Hawaiian Islands. What a nice preview to this day as we prepare to arrive in our final port of call in Ensenada on the Baja California Peninsula in Mexico. As our ship continued sailing toward the port, we were hopeful that we would see a fantastic sunrise coming over the mountain ranges. On this occasion, the sunrise did not have the distinct sphere shape that it sometimes has with other sunrises or sunsets, but there was no mistake identifying its position in the sky with its bright glow among the clouds. This was our first cruise to have 4 or more sea days in a row. Our previous cruises only had 3 or less sea days in a row, so this was a test to see how well we would do for longer stretches at sea. Fortunately, the Grand Princess had decent internet connection, so we were able to go online during part of our time at sea. Also, there were some interesting seminars as well as great dining and entertainment to help pass the time. We spent a good portion of our time in our room watching TV or taking naps, as we do not like to go overboard with too many scheduled activities. If you enjoy cruises that have more port days than sea days, then you might think twice about booking a cruise with more sea days, unless you also like spending time on board participating in all that the cruise ship has to offer. Another consideration is the length of the cruise. This cruise was 15 days in length, and we found ourselves longing for home during the last few days of the cruise as we were sailing back from Hawaii. In our opinion, cruises that are 7 or less days are too short, and cruises that are 14 or more days are too long. It seems that cruises around 9, 10, or 11 days are about the right length of time for us. One more thing to consider are the amenities of the ship and the passenger clientele targeted by the ship. The Grand Princess did not seem to offer much for active passengers. At times, we felt like we were on a floating nursing home, and most of the passengers were old enough to be our parents. Maybe one of the benefits of taking a cruise with several sea days is that it allows you time to really experience what a ship does or does not have to offer passengers on board. This cruise had its pros and cons like any cruise, and we did experience some enjoyment from it. Entering the harbor to the port of Ensenada, we saw a breaker wall like the ones from previous ports of call that we had visited. Next, we sailed by the docks for the naval base. Later, as we approached the Ensenada cruise ship dock, we saw the Carnival Radiance already docked. Taking in our first views of Ensenada, we noticed how parts of the city expanded up into the surrounding hills. We thought we would disembark on starboard when we docked, but we figured out that it would be on port when we saw how the ship turned around in the harbor before docking. As a result, we would not have the views of Ensenada that we wanted from our balcony while in port. Instead, we would have the view of the Ensenada International Terminal, which is the industrial part of the port and not as scenic as the city view on the other side. Hello, and welcome to the 5th port of call on our Grand Princess Hawaiian cruise. This is Ensenada on the western coast of the Baja California Peninsula in the country of Mexico. We smelled sewage on the dock toward the aft of the ship as we waited for our shore excursion. We purchased the Ensenada Topless Bus Express shore excursion operated by Playa Sol Tours. Here are the highlights from that excursion. The Riviera del Pacifico was the first site we passed by on our excursion. Next, we drove by the naval base. There was a horseback riding service available for tourists who like to ride. The Ensenada Pier extension is where the horseback riding occurred. As we rode by the Plaza Contenedores, we saw what appeared to be a dog show in progress. Continuing southward, we next rode by the Ensenada Municipal Beach. Once we reached the end of the beach, we turned around and headed back northward towards downtown. When we purchased this short excursion, it was advertised as being a 2-hour tour, plus the price was very reasonable based on that assumption. As we rode through downtown, the tour guide pointed out various restaurants, pharmacies, and stores. After about 1 hour of riding, the bus stopped in the shopping district, and the tour guide announced that the second hour of our excursion would be for shopping. We were not interested in doing any shopping, so we stayed on the bus and rode back to the ship. This excursion was not what we had hoped it would be, but at least it was not expensive. Before we boarded the ship, we went toward the end of the dock to get a closer look at these two sea lions. Seeing them relaxing by the ship was a treat, as we enjoy seeing wildlife up close and personal. We'd liked this experience better than the shore excursion. Later in the evening, after we had dinner, we checked out the view of the Ensenada lights at dusk as we sailed away from the coast. Although our visit to Ensenada was not as enjoyable as we would have liked, we made the most of it and appreciated the opportunity to visit and say we had been there. Don't forget to like this video by giving it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below to let us know what you think. If you're not a subscriber, click the red subscribe button below. And keep up with our latest videos by clicking the notification bell. Thank you for watching. Be sure to check out these other videos, and we'll see you next time.